Metaverses are super hot right now. We've been talking about these in the blockchain world for a long time, but they're finally hitting the mainstream and people want that Ready Player One environment. They want it already. And so we're laying the groundworks here with crypto, and today I'm going to talk about an up-and-coming metaverse that incorporates a lot of what's actually going on in the whole space exploration industry right now. And they include that into this whole space-focused metaverse that we're going to be showing you today. Are you ready? Hey there, crypto friends. Thanks again for joining me. So today we're talking about metaverses. This is, one of the topics that comes up a lot on my channel because they are all encompassing. So when we talk about NFT gaming and NFT games and what's hot, play to earn is obviously the way and the direction that our industry is going, being able to monetize your gameplay and actually earn real world value. Now, metaverses can be very much akin to what you would see in something like an MMO, where you have this persistent world where you're doing things outside of a linear story or goal within the game, and it comes down to a lot of socializing, crafting, buying and selling, being a merchant. And in most of these games, maybe you're buying and selling, you're merchanting, you're doing tasks, you're earning in-game currency, but that currency cannot be converted into anything like money. You can't actually monetize in any kind of way. And that's what I think is really great about a blockchain-enabled metaverse, is they allow you to do all those things, socialize, have fun, create, buy, sell, speculate, and be able to really earn some real-world value with your time versus not having anything that you can extract from the game for the gameplay and the time that you've invested into it. So today we're talking about a metaverse that does exactly that, and this is one you can get in on the ground floor on because they're just barely getting started, and I'm really looking forward to this space-focused metaverse that is coming soon. But before we get into all the details, if you love gaming, NFTs, and earning money in crypto, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and smash that like button if you want to continue to maximize your gaming and crypto NFT profits with me. That's what we do here. So today's project is something you might want to take a look at. I think that their token that is connected to the project is in a good position for picking some up, for getting involved early on the ground floor before they really do their beta release. Once these metaverse processes go out there and they start selling land, they start to skyrocket. We've seen this in multiple different metaverses. Once the land is out, the prices always go up. Never go up. It happens. People out there are clamoring to get their hands on virtual real estate, and today's project is called Starlink, and Starlink is an up-and-coming project on Ethereum that has some pretty interesting elements that they incorporate here. In particular, some actual real-world data that revolves around satellites and space industry type of entities, which I think is pretty cool. I'm going to tell you what that really means here in just a second. All right, so here we are on the Starlink website, and this is the Starl Metaverse project. So this is a space-focused metaverse, which I love. We've seen a lot of metaverses, things like Decentraland or Sandbox, or Somnium Space, or Crypto Voxels, and then a bunch of other have popped up. I just did a video about some of the up-and-coming metaverses that are a little bit farther along in their product, so I'll link that video up above for the up-and-coming metaverses video that I just dropped, the top ones that I think are going to be really great. But this one is actually one that is focused on space. And so we've seen a lot of other space NFT games that have been launching. In particular, we've been talking a lot about Star Atlas on the Solana blockchain, but they don't focus themselves around being really a metaverse. It's more of a game-oriented environment where you can do a lot of things, but they don't kind of really, have this ability of really calling themselves a metaverse. And my distinction that I make is the fact that there is some sort of land that you can buy, right? There's some sort of vested, asset or something in the game that is valuable and is somewhat static, right? With a space game, it's a little bit more difficult to pull this off because there's no actual land, right? You could talk about, well, maybe you own planets, and there's been a couple of games that have that as an ability where you actually are owning the actual planets themselves. But Starlink project, the Star project here is done things a little bit differently. So it's a space metaverse, and it is what they call is the first 100% community-owned and decentralized virtual metaverse. And that is really the goal here, I think, of the Star project, is to really put this into the community's hands, where there is essentially a DAO running all of the important aspects of the game, what's going on. And this is a token where they have no dev tax. They didn't do a big pre-sale. There's no developer tokens or allocations that are going to be dropped on you. Like those bags are gonna be dropped on you at some point. The Starlink project has really kind of gone to those links to make sure that doesn't happen, right? To make sure that doesn't happen. So this is, like I said, this project is in very early stages. They've done their token launch, right? So the Starl token is out there on exchanges and you can buy it now. But they're getting ready to do the beta launch of their universe, right? The Starl universe. So that is coming in October. That's a pretty important detail to consider and keep in mind. Because where they have done some initial NFT sales, which they call that they're SAT NFTs, like under satellites, short for satellites, I believe. Those things they come out in they come in batches, right? So they're getting ready to release this universe. So I'm sure they're going to be doing more sales here leading up to something like that. Now, when you talk about like, well, what is this? What's going on here? What is this? And what are they really doing? And what can you do here? Right, so the token that they have launched here, the Starl token, is essentially the in-game currency, and it's what is going to be used to pretty much do everything inside this metaverse. So if you want to buy satellites, if you want to buy any of the up-and-coming NFTs like living modules, the different land plots that they're going to have out there, things like that, planets, which are all coming here in the future, you're going to be using Starl to do that and to transact within the actual game itself. So the token has tons of utility in that kind of respect, and then you think about, well, what can you really do here? And similar to a lot of these metaverses, they kind of leave that up to the community. They're not putting a specific game into play, but this is a place to be able to socialize, to be able to hang out, to be able to, like you said, buy, sell, speculate, things of that nature. And you can do all these in this kind of space environment. And the Starlink project and Star project revolves around satellites. This is kind of one of the main things that they're launching right here. And these satellites offer a couple of interesting things. Now, first you got to think of like, where do they get this whole concept from? Because these satellites actually mirror and they're modeled after real world satellites. So when we talk about satellites that are in the orbit of Earth here, these satellites have actually been modeled after tons of different satellites that have already been launched. And so when we show you here the NFT marketplace, you'll see what I mean about that. So they have kind of data tied them as well. So these satellites also have metadata that corresponds to different metadata of the actual satellite themselves that are in orbit. So global positioning and things like that. That metadata is actually intertwined into these NFTs. I thought that was a really unique aspect of these NFTs and the model that they're going here with their satellite NFTs. So you're really bringing some real world data into a game like this and using it for a really interesting purpose, right? So these SAT NFTs or satellite NFTs, they were kind of inspired, and the name is kind of derived from the Elon Musk Starlink project, right? Which are these internet enabling satellites, small satellites that are spread out all across the orbit of Earth, so people can get internet access in hard to reach places. And so the Starlink project here, Starl project, has been inspired by that, and they kind of aim to be the virtual component, right? The virtual token and component for these star-based metaverses. So that's kind of a little bit of background on these satellites and the tokens themselves. Now, when it comes down to the utility of these satellites, well, why would you even want to have one? Right? Well, the satellites actually give you a passive income of 20% APR. That's annual percentage return, right? Or annual percentage rate in Starl tokens. So just holding one gives you instant passive income, which I love. You guys know that I love passive income. So that's kind of one of the main plots here of what's going on with the Starl token. And you know, obviously there's a lot more that they're going to be launching here as the game gets going and they release their beta in October. And one of those things is the fact that they have a DAO, right? They're going to have this DAO that it gives you governance over the actual project themselves. And you also get like a profile too that kind of represents each player in the virtual space. It shows what satellites you have and what are going on there. And then, you know, of course they have their marketplace, which is the last thing I want to show you guys here. And so you can see some of these satellites. You see the different satellites, and they look like these popular satellites that have been launched out into actual orbit around Earth. And some of them are going for big dollars. Now, obviously, there's been very limited sales of these NFTs, so the ones that are for sale here, people put up for ridiculous amounts. Looks like maybe the lowest one is around $21,000. But I do believe they're going to be launching some new NFTs soon, so definitely look for that coming up incredibly soon here on the website. So that is a quick look at the Starl project, their token, the satellites, how you can earn some passive income, what the game is about, and how it was inspired. I think this could be one of the really cool metaverses if they can deliver on what they have going here and kind of the roadmap that they have set up. Because I can't wait to really see a true metaverse that is, you know, like a you know, kind of space focused metaverse that actually has some sort of vested, you know, items in there that work like land, like virtual land does in games like Decentraland, Sandbox, and some of these others. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below if you're interested in the Starlink project or or you just love space like I do. That's all we have for today, folks. Till next time.